All right, people. So once again, this is my Telegram channel. Any doubts or queries that you have, you may ask it over here. You can also send in your PYQs. Now, in the last class, we basically saw about good governance. We understood that it is again another offshoot of what you would say call as metrics organization, NPS, participative management. This is our understanding because civil society organizations, NGOs, private players, all will be involved here when it comes to delivery of goods and services. This is our understanding. Good afternoon, Suganya. Good afternoon, Satish. Now we will continue our discussion further into another two topics where we will be winding it up and start with public policy. So beyond good governance, each country exists within a unique socio-political and economic context, making a one-size-fits-all governance model ineffective. The 1999 report on human development in South Asia introduced the concept of humane governance, highlighting that human deprivation stems from social and political factors, not just economic ones. It emphasizes the goal of development as building human capabilities and ensuring dignity and equality. Now, good afternoon, Vakmita. Good afternoon, Lipika. This we already know. यानी कि एक वन साइज फिट ऑल अप्रोच काम नहीं चलेगा. वन साइज फिट ऑल अप्रोच का मतलब है एक ही मॉडल ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आप सारे मुल्कों में डाल सकते हैं. इम्पॉसिबल. हर एक जगह का अपना एक सोशल पॉलिटिकल कल्चर होता है. उस कल्चर को मानते हुए आपको वहां का सिस्टम डेवलप करना पड़ेगा. एंड द 1999 रिपोर्ट टेल्स अस दैट ह्यूमन डेप्रिवेशन स्टम्स फ्रॉम सोशल एंड पॉलिटिकल फैक्टर्स, नॉट जस्ट इकोनॉमिक वंस. यानी कि इंसान में अगर जो भी कमी रह गई, खाने का, कपड़े का या फिर मकान का, कुछ भी हो, वो सिर्फ इकोनॉमिक कारण के वजह से नहीं, social or political reasons are also there. It emphasizes the goal of development as building human capabilities and ensuring dignity and equality. मकसद क्या है डेवलपमेंट का? ह्यूमन कैपेबिलिटीज, काबिलियत डेवलप करो, डिग्निटी एंड इक्वालिटी एंश्योर करो. क्लियर? Grindel proposed the idea of good enough governance, arguing that a perfect governance design is unrealistic. सही बात है. परफेक्ट, कोई भी चीज आप परफेक्ट करने के लिए व्हाट इज इट, परफेक्ट करने के लिए अगर आप कोशिश करोगे तो यू विल ओनली एंड अप इन द मेंटल असाइलम. पागल ठिकाने में आप जाओगे. परफेक्शन इज नॉट द डेस्टिनेशन, इट्स इंप्रूवमेंट. इंप्रूवमेंट में क्या होता है, हमेशा आप यू आर इन अ प्रोसेस ऑफ लर्निंग. परफेक्शन इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक ओके बियॉन्ड दिस आगे कुछ नहीं है. नो. Clear? She advocates for minimally acceptable governance that supports economic and political development while allowing for poverty reduction initiatives. Economic और political development होना चाहिए और साथ में poverty को कम करने वाला initiatives भी होना चाहिए. जैसे कि हमारे देश में नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी मिशन है, या महात्मा गांधी के रूरल स्कीम है, आयुष्मान भारत स्कीम है, all of that. There is a growing recognition that governance must be coupled with poverty reduction, social safety nets, and anti-corruption efforts, leading to the augmented Washington consensus. यानी कि आज के तारीख पर what is the belief system today? Poverty reduction, government should focus on. Social safety nets like health insurance, एंटी करप्शन एफर्ट्स, करप्शन भी आपको कम करवाना है. जब आप ये तीन चीज करोगे तभी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आगे चल पाएंगे. गेटिंग द पॉइंट हियर? दैट मींस गवर्नमेंट इन्वेस्ट ऑन एमजी नरेगा. यस. अब फिलहाल व्हेन मेनी गवर्नमेंट्स लाइक कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट और द महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट एक्सेट्रा, लाडली बहना, दैट महिला, दिस महिला स्कीम एक्सेट्रा, at least one of them, any government, did they say, we will bring a, if not Mahatma Gandhi, maybe some other name, historical name. Let us say Subhash Chandra Bose Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme. Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme. Every adult from a household will get guaranteed employment. तो एक टीम रखो आप जहां जहां काम आ रहा है, गवर्नमेंट के जुड़े हुए या प्राइवेट सेक्टर से जुड़े कुछ भी काम हो, रेडीमेड सप्लाई ऑफ वर्कर्स, डू इट ऑफ. अब ऐसा नहीं है कि अर्बन एरियाज में कोई काम ही नहीं है. Getting the point there. So this could have been a very good scheme. Rather than simply giving people money, you make them work, then give them the money. Getting the point here. So providing employment, providing health insurance, providing quality education, quality infrastructure, reducing corruption, making a system stable, these should be the primary concern of the government. Clear, people? Good afternoon, Sakshi. This model seeks to strengthen the relationship between the state, economy, and civil society, integrating political, social, and economic dimensions for a sustainable development. A good governance system involves comprehensive public policy formulation and implementation characterized by transparency, accountability, democracy, and participation. What is good governance? Ultimately, it is what? Sabka Saath development. Sabka Saath. You are not leaving anybody out there. मैं सही हूं, मैं बड़ा हूं, तुम छोटे हो. That is not the logic there. The logic here is you are ready to listen from everywhere and respond accordingly. That is why I gave you that example also. All said and done, budget, whether it is from because if you look at the entire January paper, Jairam Ramesh, especially Jairam Ramesh, I would say, from the opposition, was going on making statements, reduce the taxes, give a relief to the middle class people. Many statements he was giving. I'm not saying he was the one who pressurized the government. No. But otherwise also, from all the quarters and all the section, people were telling, reduce the tax burden. Ultimately, the government listened. That is good governance. Where there is a give and take. उल्टा गवर्नमेंट अगर ये सोचा होता है हम ही जीतेंगे अगले आने वाले 5 साल के लिए भी 2029 में भी हमारा ही गवर्नमेंट आएगा. Because we don't have a strong opposition. That is the ultimate reality. So, if government would have thought like that, it would have alienated the people further. You cannot call it governance then. Getting the picture here. Issues and challenges of good governance. Good afternoon, Abarna. Now, what are the issues and challenges? Strengthening governance institutions. In India, Parliament serves as the supreme representative body, but concerns about participation and conduct have arisen. There's a need to enhance parliamentary practices to ensure it evolves with changing times. This will be discussed in paper 2 because वहां पर we have to discuss parliament का पूरा performance. कितना attendance है, कितने सवालें पूछते हैं, कितना bills discuss हो रहे हैं, कितना bills committee के discussion के लिए जाते हैं. All that will be taking it up over there. Improving civil service and bureaucracy. The civil service is crucial for policy implementation. A responsive, professional, and energetic bureaucracy is essential to meet citizens' needs. Responsive, professionally qualified. But episodes like that of Pooja Khetkar and Miss Singhal, etc., clearly tells us what much reforms are needed even in the way bureaucracy is being run. Because that elitist character is still associated with the bureaucracy. Unfortunately, कुछ लोग सर्विस के अंदर इसलिए आते हैं ताकि वो लोग अपने अंदर के अंदर जो घमंड है वो बाहर दिखा सके. Establishing an independent judiciary. A strong, accountable judiciary is vital for upholding the rule of law and social justice. True. Strong, accountable judiciary. Lekin India is the only democratic country in the world where judiciary appoints judiciary. और ऊपर से क्या है, जुडिशरी अपॉइंट्स जुडिशरी. दिस होल प्रोसेस इटसेल्फ इज व्हाट, वेरी ओपेक. ओपेक क्यों? क्योंकि व्हाट इज द रीजन, व्हाट किस क्राइटेरिया के ऊपर आपने किसी को हाई कोर्ट जज बना दिया है, या कौन से क्राइटेरिया के ऊपर आपने किसी को सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज बना दिया गया है, कितने कैंडिडेट्स थे वहां पर, क्या क्या बैरोमीटर्स आपने रखा था, व्हाट इज इट, टू जज द क्वालिटी ऑफ द सो कॉल्ड जज देयर. We don't know. None of us know. And interestingly enough, we trust the judiciary more than the parliament, than the elected representative. Elected representative कम से कम हमें मालूम है, ओके, इनका प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यूज इतना है, इन्होंने इतना करोड़ बना दिया पिछले 5 साल के अंदर. Do we have the data of judges like that? Do we even have a data like that anywhere? कितने जजेस कितने करोड़ों रुपए कमा लिया है? That's the point. The whole judiciary itself is transparent. Again, something to be taken up in. All these are paper 2 basically. Accountability in the private sector. Private companies must adopt sound business practices and adhere to regulations while protecting consumer interests. एक हद तक आज this is possible thanks to Competition Commission of India, thanks to the different rules and regulations that is out there, thanks to the new accounting standards out there. To some extent, this is ensured. Citizen education, educating citizens about their rights and responsibilities fosters their participation in development activities. Citizens go, you're making them aware so that their participation is ensured. Clear? Iska basically, what is it? Right from social media, YouTube, all of that, where people are today vocally expressing their opinion, and that becomes indirectly a platform. Government taking the help of cyber volunteers. UP government has done that. They are directly hiring people, volunteers. They are asking why, to educate the people of a fake news, to report to the government about fake news. Key focus areas for good governance, political governance, strengthen through decentralization, accountable elected representatives, regular elections, and an impartial judiciary. Again, paper 2 topic, we'll be discussing it there. Economic governance, prioritize budget allocations for social sectors, promote private sector growth, and create a stable regulatory environment. Paper 2 mein, we'll discuss it in detail. Empower citizens to govern their lives and engage actively in democratic processes through awareness and capacity building initiatives, taking an active involvement with regard to the matters of governance. Yeah, active involvement, unfortunately in our country, it is largely, हमें ये चीज सिर्फ कहां देखने के लिए मिलते हैं ज्यादा से ज्यादा? So, center, state. People take part in the election. People know their elected representatives. People know the chief minister, the MP, the MLA. Great. Local bodies. अगर सेंटर या स्टेट के इलेक्शन सही वक्त पर अगर नहीं होता है तो पूरा कांड हो जाएगा. नो डाउट अबाउट इट. लोकल बॉडीज के नो इंटरेस्ट. People should show interest, right? That yes, when will you conduct the municipal election? People should question that. Nobody is questioning it. सबसे बड़ा वजह क्या है? I will tell you. What is the real reason? Only or largely the only reason for this? ये दोनों का इलेक्शन चीफ इलेक्शन कमीशन, I mean central election, that is election commission has to do it, not CEC. CEC is chief election commission. 1 minute. Election Commission of India conducts the election to center and state. जहां तक लोकल बॉडीज का इलेक्शंस का सवाल है, दैट इज कंडक्टेड एक्चुअली बाय स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन. और स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन शुड बी अपॉइंटेड बाय whom? State government should do that. Agar state government doesn't appoint the SCC, no need to conduct the election. Simple. Even though this is a constitutional provision. Under the 72nd and 73rd Amendment Act, it is a constitutional provision. यानी कि आपको ये चीज करना ही पड़ेगा. फिर भी almost पिछले 30 साल से ज्यादा this provision is being violated by almost every state in the country. Every state. And this is also the reason why we don't have any nice panchayats, best panchayat in the country. You hardly hear it. Best municipality in the country, you will never hear it. Why? Election ही वक्त पर नहीं होता है. Because state governments do not want to lose what? Control over the main cities and a few main panchayats. Main panchayats और main cities में यही what are they basic, what are they again? जहां पर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सब कुछ काफी ठीक ठाक है. स्टेट डोंट वांट टू लूज कंट्रोल. क्योंकि अगर लोकल बॉडीज इलेक्शन अगर आप वक्त पे कंट्रोल, वक्त पर अगर आपने किया तो लोकल बॉडीज विल बी कंट्रोलिंग दिस. स्टेट का कोई कंट्रोल नहीं रहेगा. Getting the point here? Again, this particular topic we'll be discussing in detail in our P2. But याद रखो ये चीज. Any doubts here, people, so far? Afternoon, Yashbi. Now, with that, we come to largely about administration related things. Now we are going to see how a public policy is made. Policies के पीछे वाला theories that we are going to see now. The main topic starts from here now, public policy. And उसमें पहला model that we are going to discuss is our very own systems model. David Easton described the policy-making process as a black box that transforms societal demands into policies. काला डब्बा. काला डब्बा जहां सोसाइटी के डिमांड पूरा अंदर जाएगा और बाहर आपको पॉलिसी मिलेगा. Clear? He argued that the political system is the part of society responsible for the authoritative allocation of values. Authoritative allocation of values. Authoritative allocation का मतलब है अब हम किस चीज पर फोकस करेंगे. Planning Commission, first plan focused on agriculture. Second 5-year plan focused on industries. That is authoritatively वो लोग अभी कह रहे हैं देखो अब हम इसके ऊपर फोकस करेंगे. That is what it means. Allocation of values, when we say, it simply means अब हमारा हमदर्दी हो या हमारा कंसर्न हो, हमारा एम्पैथी हो, सिंपैथी हो, हम किस चीज को ज्यादा ध्यान देंगे. Inputs which include physical, social, economic and political factors enter the political system as both demands and supports. Demands are claims made by individuals and groups seeking changes in public policy. Supports in a political system consist of the rules, laws, and customs that sustain the political community and its authorities. मतलब demands, supports, goes as input. Demand coming from the individuals, which is what? Bhaiya, reduce the tax. सपोर्ट क्या है? वो कानून, वो सिस्टम जो पूरे सिस्टम को आगे चलने का मदद कर लेता है. So that could be the kanun and all. When we talk about earlier, it was your IPC, Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, Indian Evidence Act, correct? ये सब. अब जब आप आउटपुट देखोगे तो what are the two important changes that we have received? Number one, number two, got the idea, people? Support is shown when individuals or groups accept decisions and laws, providing symbolic or material input such as obeying laws, paying taxes, or respecting national symbols. Central to the political system are the institutions and actors involved in policy making, including the chief executive, legislators, judges, and bureaucrats. In the systems model, inputs are translated into outputs which represent the authoritative allocation of values by the political system known as public policies. Public policy is seen as output of the system. मतलब हमारे इसी डायग्राम में अगर आप देखोगे तो यहां का आउटपुट का दूसरा नाम क्या है? दूसरा नाम है public policy. Getting the idea, people? So this is what it is. The model emphasizes a cyclical process where information from feedback informs inputs and outputs, allowing policies to be originated, implemented, adjusted, and readjusted. मतलब हमारे systems model की तरह always what will be coming into this? जिसके कारण policies will be adjusted, readjusted, implemented. Changes will keep on happening. Clear? This is one way of policy making, the systems model. Any doubts here, people? Any doubts so far? The systems model helps in understanding the policy making process, but some argue it is overly simplistic. Critics say it relies on value laden techniques from welfare economics and overlooks the fragmented nature of the black box. Welfare economics say they take their principles from, that is a criticism, because welfare economics ka principle kya hai? You provide health care, you take care of the poor, you take care of the disadvantaged, है ना? And overlooks the fragmented nature of the black box. Fragmented nature का मतलब क्या है? सबके लिए policies बनाना आसान नहीं होता. Now I always tell, anywhere, everywhere, whenever, that freebies is really, really bad for the country. ये बुरा चीज है. I keep telling it. But then I was reading the paper the other day, Delhi election, and most of the women, not most, at least, but a good percentage of women who work as domestic help, for them they were telling, because the bus ride is free for them, they are able to save something like 2,000 to 3,000 rupees in a month. And that has brought a lot of change to the way they are surviving. That means there are people who are getting the benefit of it. तो पूरा का पूरा freebies मिटाना is not again a nice idea, I would say. Why? Because there are people who are able to, हमारे लिए जहां पर हम what is it 10,000 के कोचिंग या 20,000 के कोचिंग ले रहे हैं, हमें ऐसा नहीं लगेगा कि बड़े रकम है, लेकिन ordinary people के लिए that is a huge money, that is a huge amount. So how can we channelize it better is the question. Because problem क्या है, इसका फायदा even the person who is probably holding an iPhone is also getting this benefit. That doesn't make any sense, right? जो पैसे दे सकते हैं उनसे पैसे ले लो. So some criteria should be fixed, right? Some economic criteria at least. जिनके पास रेशन कार्ड है, issue them a master card. जहां पर वो मास्टर कार्ड स्वाइप करते ही पता चलेगा कि ये what is it, below poverty line से है या above poverty line से है, whatever it is, they have a ration card, let it go, let them take free ride. So some criteria should be fixed for this, but it is not easy again, thanks to the 140 crore plus population that we have it in our country. ये उतना आसान नहीं है जितना हम सोचते हैं. Lindbergh notes that political decision makers are often constrained by economic factors within the political system. Everything we can say, ऐसे करो आप, वैसे करो आप, ऐसे करो क्यों नहीं करते, वैसे क्यों नहीं करते. The main issue is what? पैसे कहाँ है भैया? Where is the budget for all of this? The Estonian model overlooks the significant influence that policymakers and institutions have on their operating environment. While, okay, it's not Estonian, it's Estonian. While Eastern views this model as neutral, critics argue that structural variations directly impact public policy. Matlab, the influence that policymakers and institutions have on their environment. This he is not thinking. He is only talking about what? He is only talking about feedback coming from the environment. He is not thinking that the way public policy and the political institutions consisting of the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, even they are capable of what? They are also capable of influencing the environment. So this particular aspect he has not looked into, and that will have an impact on the public policy. In other words, public वही चीज डिमांड करेंगे जो political system दे रहे हैं. If you actually see, now I'm not going to name any political party here, you can do the homework and you can find it out from where it all started. In the national elections of 2024, from there this started, announcing freebie. हम इतना इतना दे देंगे, महिलाओं के लिए हम ये दे देंगे, वो दे देंगे. It literally changed the voting behavior of people. Literally. Once at the national level, this impact it created, state level it started spreading around. अब ऐसा नहीं है कि लोग मांग रहे थे मुझे भी फ्री चाहिए, मुझे फ्री ये चाहिए, फ्री वो चाहिए. नो, सप्लाई केम फर्स्ट. सप्लाई होने के बाद क्या हुआ? अब लोग मांग रहे हैं. दूसरे पार्टी बोल रहे हैं कि 3,000 रुपए दे देंगे महिलाओं को हर महीने. आप कितने दोगे? हम 4,000 दे देंगे. तो ठीक है, आपके पार्टी के लिए वोट. इमीडिएटली द नेक्स्ट पार्टी से, अरे हम 5,000 दे देंगे आपको. It is not that people demanded it. It is not that either the law supported it or principles of economics supported it. Nothing. Political parties decided to give. They influence the environment. Now people are claiming it. Clear, people? Additionally, it is suggested that political and bureaucratic elites shape mass opinion more than the masses influence leadership perspectives. बढ़िया सेंटेंस है ये. मतलब क्या है? जितना हम सोच रहे हैं ना कि जनता के पास ताकत है, जनता कुछ भी कर सकता है, it is actually the ulta. Bureaucracy and politicians can actually shape the opinion. पब्लिक क्या सोचना चाहिए, पब्लिक किस चीज के ऊपर ध्यान रखना चाहिए, all this is decided ultimately by the politicians, media nexus. Getting the point here? Whenever anything major, etc., if you would have noticed that anything major is about to happen, immediately when IPL season will start. और IPL के दौरान कुछ भी हो जाए, लोगों को कोई, what is it? People are not at all bothered or people don't care about it. They are only concerned about, okay, इस बार क्या चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स जीतेगा या इस बार RCB कप लेकर जाएगा. This is their only concern. Shaping the opinion, distracting the people from the real issues. Getting the picture? It is difficult to pinpoint the extent to which different inputs such as the demands and supports of the public, the influence from the environment, and the values and perceptions of the policy makers influence the outcome, that is public policy. कौन से पब्लिक पॉलिसी के ऊपर कितना असर पड़ेगा या नहीं, किसका ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस होगा या कम, it is not easy to correctly tell where and what. Demonetization हुआ. Almost everybody thought गया, ये गवर्नमेंट तो अभी गया, ये वापस आने वाला नहीं है. They won the next state elections. All the state elections that were conducted post demonetization, even BJP, I'm pretty sure BJP at headquarters also, even they would have cried खुशी का आंसू. They'll be like, जीत गया, ये कैसे? Because everybody had almost written off that God, लोग गुस्से में है, ये है, वो है. They won the election. GST लाया, they still won the election. 370, Article 370 किया, everybody told, देखो कश्मीर, the youth will not support this decision. कश्मीर के youth नाराज है गवर्नमेंट से. Immediately after Article 370's abrogation, central government kept an army recruitment camp in Kashmir. The queue was so long, इतना लंबा क्यू था वहां पर कि इसका सर कहां है और टेल एंड का, वेयर इज द हेड, वेयर इज द टेल ऑफ दिस क्यू, नोबडी गॉट टू नो बिकॉज दैट बिग द क्यू वाज. ऐसे 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 जा रहे थे. Clearly telling what youth wants job. They don't bother. They don't like Kashmir, India ka ho, India ka bahar, India ke andar, whatever it is. Just give us a job. Just give us stability. Which is true. If you ask the current generation, do you love your country? Do you love your state? They'll be like, I love my family more. Just give me a job. ढंग का कोई काम दे दो मुझे. मुझे काम चाहिए, पैसा चाहिए, शादी करना है, बच्चा होना चाहिए, बस. That's it. तो वहां पर सब कुछ नहीं हुआ. 3 नया फार्म लॉस लाया, पूरा कांड हो गया. 1 साल से ज्यादा स्ट्राइक. गवर्नमेंट टुक अ कंप्लीट यूटर्न, अनएक्सपेक्टेड. कोई और गवर्नमेंट ये किया होता, पीपल वुड हैव अंडरस्टैंड, अरे ये तो होना ही था. दिस गवर्नमेंट डिड अ यूटर्न. नोबडी कुड बिलीव इट. सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक किया, ये किया, वो किया, इतना सब कुछ करने के बाद ये 3 कानून के लिए आपने यूटर्न ले लिया. दैट इज पब्लिक पॉलिसी. किसका असर ज्यादा पड़ेगा, क्या उस, या फिर एक पब्लिक पॉलिसी का रियल इंपैक्ट क्या होगा? All these things you will never get to know from the systems model. Systems model is basically like an observation. It's an observation. That is, okay, there is a demand. Based on the demand, you made a policy. Now, based on the feedback, you're making some adjustment, readjustment. That's it. Clear, people? Any doubts here? Public policy model, institutional model. It focuses on the government as an institution for policy analysis. It covers the realms of key government institutions, parliament, executive, and judiciary. In other words, a policy the realms of key government institutions, parliament, executive, and judiciary. In other words, a policy does not take the shape unless it is adopted and implemented by governmental institutions. कानून तो आपने बना लिया, 3 new criminal laws. Okay, replacing the IPC. Farmer loan waivers, material relief versus structural reform. Structural reform क्यों साक्षी? Why structural reform did you put it up? See, structural reform, when we say, understand, when you use the word structural reform means existing कोई system में आप एक बड़ा change ला रहे हो, एक reformation means a change. So structural change means in the economy, you're bringing a structural change totally. Farm loan waiver, will it bring a massive change in the structure of our economy? No. It's not farm loan waiver actually. What could probably create a huge impact in the overall economy would be subsidies पूरी तरह से अगर आप मिटा दोगे, then you can call it as a structural reform. Then you can call it a structural reform because that is huge. Subsidy bill, if you see, I think putting all the subsidies, minimum support price, सब कुछ अगर आप डालोगे तो that will cross more than 2 to 3 lakh crore. समझ में आ रहा है? 3 लाख crore. Farm loan waiver and all, it is actually peanuts comparatively compared to that amount. Subsidy burden से अगर आप तुलना करोगे तो that is peanut amount. Farm loan waiver, material relief. Material relief again, okay, to an extent material relief I will agree because they don't have to pay the interest or they don't have to pay the principal. That is there. But वहां पर it is not material relief versus structural reform. Rather we can say material relief versus economic discipline. That is the point here. Hope that is clear now. Government institutions endow public policy with 3 distinct characteristics. Okay, that is, I was basically discussing that. That is, 3 नया कानून लाए, भारतीय न्याय संहिता, etc. Okay, how many states have implemented it? कानून लाना एक बात है, उसे आप किस तरीके से इंप्लीमेंट कर रहे हो, कैसे आप उसके अंदर केसेस फ्रेम कर रहे हो, that matters, right? And that depends on whom? The institution, executive, including government departments. यानी कि how are the police departments filing the cases, filing the FIR as per the 3 new laws? That will matter. So any policy is only as good as how it is being implemented by the concerned institution, चाहे वो पार्लियामेंट हो, चाहे वो एक्सिक्यूटिव हो, या कोई गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट हो विद इन द एक्सिक्यूटिव और द गवर्नमेंट, और चाहे वो जुडिशरी हो. The government invests legal authority to policies. Application of a public policy is universal. Public policy involves coercion. तीन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है. गवर्नमेंट इन्वेस्ट्स लीगल अथॉरिटी टू पॉलिसीज. जो भी पॉलिसीज बनाते हैं उसके पास किस चीज का ताकत है? कानून का. देन it is applied universally. So CC, say for example CCTNS, linking all the police stations in the country with one single system. Public policy involves coercion. Coercion means थोड़ा force है, थोड़ा जबरदस्ती है इसमें. That is, now every state has to do this. Every state is linked. Police stations are linked. Your FIRs are all going to go online. Cases will be registered under the 3 new laws. भगवान के खातिर don't even get into any small fist fight also. पूरा कुंडली के साथ आधार कहां पर रह रहा है, बाप कौन है, बाप के बाप कौन है, पूरा डेटा के साथ the information will be fed into the system. And once you are inside the system, your data is there. यानी कि मिस्टर सो एंड सो या मिस सो एंड सो ये दिन रात के इतने बजे इनके साथ लड़ाई की, we arrested the person. It will be there forever. Getting the point here? Coercion is there. It will be implemented everywhere. You and I, everybody will come under the new law. Clear? Whether you like it or not. The institutional approach to public policy emphasizes the role of government. The role of government acts in supporting decisions and the interactions among institutions created by the constitution, legislature or government. Role of government acts. Government acts means government के जो भी acts है, कानूने हैं, in supporting decisions and the interaction among institutions created by constitution, legislature or government. यानी कि जुडिशरी कैसे इंटरैक्ट करते हैं गवर्नमेंट के साथ, जुडिशरी कैसे इंटरैक्ट करते हैं पार्लियामेंट के साथ, पार्लियामेंट और गवर्नमेंट कैसे इंटरैक्ट करते हैं with each other. Now basically what is it? Government acts in supporting decisions and the interaction among institutions created by constitution, legislature or government. यानी कि जुडिशरी कैसे इंटरैक्ट करते हैं पार्लियामेंट के साथ, पार्लियामेंट और गवर्नमेंट कैसे इंटरैक्ट करते हैं विद ईच अदर. Budget was an opportunity where opposition could have questioned properly the government on various things. Instead, opposition, what did they choose to do? Kumbh Mela mein kya hua hai? Hame janna chahiye. And they staged a walkout. Hardly, first of all, in our parliament, very less number of days are there where they are meeting up. 3 sessions तो है, मानसून, विंटर, बजट सेशन कहकर 3 सेशन तो है. कम से कम ये बजट सेशन में वहां पर ढंग का सवाल पूछ लो. नो. गवर्नमेंट केम आउट विथ इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड स्कीम. जुडिशरी ने कहा स्ट्राइक इट डाउन, इट इज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. So acts, etc., if you actually see, whatever policies are ultimately made, we can clearly see what it's a result of the interaction. In policy making, various individuals and groups, such as the executive, prime minister, members of parliament, bureaucrats, and interest group leaders, exercise power, influencing the process as inputs. Everybody can influence it. मैं भी influence कर सकता हूं, आप भी कर सकते हैं, NGOs कर सकते हैं, private players कर सकते हैं. This approach also explains how social groups and governmental institutions affect those authorized to make binding decisions. The current affair ke video which will be posted in YouTube in the next week for the month of January. So many examples I have given. How informal groups, wahan par maine specifically informal groups ke heading ke andar I have given the example, but it is to do with what? It is to do with again institutional model. Institutionalism focuses on the legal and structural aspects of institutions and can be applied in policy analysis. Thomas Dye notes that governmental institutions represent structured patterns of behavior that persist over time, traditionally centering on the description of these structures and institutions. Structured patterns of behavior. यानी कि बिहेव करने बिहेवियर भी जो भी है between the government, the parliament or the judiciary, when you take it up, there is a structure to it. ऐसा नहीं है कि what is it, अरे भाई कैसे हो, that you cannot do that. Say for example, parliament के अंदर जो कुछ भी हो रहा है, judiciary cannot question it. So in the southern state of Kerala, where you can wear a dhoti. I mean, we do, everybody wears dhoti, but in the state of Kerala, especially we wear what you call mund in Malayalam, which is basically nothing but your dhoti in Hindi. So we have a distinct way of tying it. We just wrap it like this and tie it over here. One MLA, what he did was, while there was this session was going on, he just lifted his mund, lifted it up. उठा दिया, showed the color of his underwear to the opposite MLA or MLAs. ठीक है, वाहियात हरकत है, absolutely shameless, but nobody can question it. Anything, any act of omission or commission said or done inside a legislature cannot be questioned in a court of law. Simple सी बात. पार्लियामेंट के अंदर एक महिला एमपी, she said she wants to present a bill with regard to reservation of women MPs etc. in parliament. उसके बारे में एक बिल प्रेजेंट करना चाहते हैं. स्पीकर gave her the permission. She stood up to read it out. पीछे से एक एमपी चुपचाप उठकर आ गया, came near her, snatched the whole thing, tore it up, फेंक दिया, then went and sat back. ये अब नहीं हुआ है, सालों पहले. आज के जमाने में nobody does that because you will become viral in no time. Internationally, you will become viral in no time. Whatever I am telling happened many years ago. Even the former Chief Minister of former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Srimati Jayalalitha, when she was an MLA inside the State Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu, when she stood up to read out a bill or something, the other MLAs basically pulled her hair, dragged her inside the Legislative Assembly, even tore her sari. That is when she promised and she told that next time when I am going to come back to this assembly, I will come back as the Chief Minister. The rest, as they say, is history. Clear, people? So, The point here is the structured pattern of behavior. When I say, the point here is there is a clear set of do's and don'ts. It's proper formal behavior that we are talking about, nothing informal here. Clear? Evaluation of institutional model. The institutional approach has been criticized for not adequately addressing the link between government structures and public policy content, lacking systematic inquiry into how institutional characteristics influence policy decision. यानी कि इंस्टीट्यूशन के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स के वजह से पॉलिसी कैसे बनते हैं, that they are not telling. They are telling that okay, policy is a result of the interaction, policy is a result of the institution. लेकिन कैसे? Is it that our structure is different, so we are having a different policy? That is, our government का structure थोड़ा अलग है. That is why we have a different set of कानून here compared to USA. Or is it something else? Not clear. Despite its narrow focus, this approach remains relevant as government institutions significantly affect decision making and policy outcome. These structures can favor certain interests while disadvantaging others, and rules are typically not neutral. So it is understandable. We know one thing, government will definitely influence policies and decisions. So definitely some people are going to get more benefit of it, some people are going to get less benefit of it. So if some people, when they say, देखो इस देश में कुछ लोग ही बहुत खुश रहते हैं, वो है फार्मर्स, दूसरे है बिजनेसमैन. Who are the unlucky ones? The middle class. This is what people always used to say. Because middle class is bearing the entire brunt of the taxation system. Government, yes, sun sunkar, finally what did the government do? Brought down the tax. Benefiting the middle class also now. Getting the point here? It's incorrect to assume that changes in institutional structure will automatically lead to policy changes without examining the relationship between structure and policy. मतलब अगर हमने गवर्नमेंट का तरीका, गवर्नमेंट का स्ट्रक्चर जो है हमने बदल दिया तो पॉलिसी भी बदलेगा. कैसे साबित करोगे? Just because the structure changes, does it mean that immediately the whole policy will change? Because let us go back in history now. We know one thing, that medieval era, ancient era, etc., during a Kautilyan era, which we'll be taking it up in our paper 2, there was Yoga Kshema, people's welfare. Mughal people, Britishers also, although they were largely concerned about themselves, still they also did some activities, ensure that some minimal level of facilities are there at the ground level. कुछ ना कुछ उन लोगों ने भी किया था. We are having a democratic government, even they are doing it. So Kautilyan era से यहाँ तक today, आज के जमाने तक, when we look at it, almost everybody has taken concern for the people in one or the other way. तो स्ट्रक्चर बदलने से पॉलिसी भी एकदम बदलेगा? Not entirely true again. Democratic structure we are having, therefore yes, we can definitely say today's policies are more democratic compared to British, compared to Mughal era, etc. we can say. But today also we are having corruption. Today also you are having poverty. After 75 years of independence, still we are suffering from a lot of issues. So we cannot exactly say that structure alone you change, sab kuch badalega. Suggesting that merely adjusting institutional arrangements will have limited impact if underlying social, economic and political factors are not changed. स्ट्रक्चर ज्यादा बदलने से कुछ नहीं होगा. अगर सोशल, इकोनॉमिक, पॉलिटिकल फैक्टर्स नहीं बदलेगा तो मतलब क्या है? If we don't change as a set of people who will keep fighting for caste and religion, nothing is going to change. Until and unless there is a stable economy in this country, nothing will change. Until and unless we don't have proper political leaders, जो जात के नाम पर, मजहब के नाम पर वोट नहीं मांगोगे, तब तक कुछ नहीं बदलेगा. This is the idea. Any questions, people? Rational model, we will take it up in tomorrow.